Something I've wanted to talk about for quite some time, that being declining CDL viewership, which we're kind of used to at this point in the season, but even further so, it's dipping lower than it usually had in past seasons. Along with that, a resurfacing clip from Clayster talking about the rise of Warzone, World Series of Warzone, and the gigantic viewership over there, and how that affects both Call of Duty multiplayer and the Call of Duty League. I think it's a great debate going forward because it's got to be a weird time to be alive for a Call of Duty or a CDL Pro where you see a secondary game, an offshoot of your main game, far exceeding what the viewership is for the league itself, far exceeding the success that the main multiplayer game you play is even seeing.
Yeah, someone just said 10K people are watching Cold War and 171 people are watching.
Hey, Clay, watch that shot, bro.
1,000 people are watching Warzone.
I mean, I mean, it's already taken over COD. It has for the last year, you know. But I'm saying in terms of like the CDL, like how, like when Warzone is so popular and so big, how does this function in the CDL landscape, you know?
100%, bro.
Like,
Dude,
why
it's gonna be a big problem, dude. Especially
bro,
they announced Warzone on Twitch too. Like it's gonna be lit.
I know,
bro. And like, think about World Series of Warzone, right? Like, done by Esports Engine. You know, probably like to get everything ready to go and have that all with Twitch rivals and everything. Like, that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of manpower that Activision paid for to do World Series of Warzone, right? It's like, if Warzone wasn't a thing, that would be going towards multiplayer. And I'm not saying none is going towards multiplayer because now it's a lot different since it's a franchise league. But it's like, you know, the opportunities are going to become less for multiplayer and more for Warzone other than the CDL. And it's like, how long can the CDL actually survive at numbers this despairing,
let's get a
you know, like
this big
of a gap?
I mean,
I
we can test to that is VOD numbers are actually excellent for the CDL.
Yeah.
AMA numbers are actually pretty good. Yeah, but traditionally, if put on my Adam episode hack for a second,
you're just better. Let's fucking go,
traditionally, viewership always wanes at this point in the year after school. Like it's been like that in years when we haven't had Warzone, for example. It's just because, you know, you get to the doldrums of the season, people expect certain results. You know, I think maybe if Optic was a little more consistent, we'd probably get a little bit more viewership, but that's okay. They'll come back for champs. When there's an apex moment of the season, they'll be back. And I think to the other point too, it's like when we actually get back to having LAN events and teams can activate and market, they can have these giant celebrations of all things Call of Duty. You said it yourself. Not only between, you know, COD, CDL, and Warzone, people may not realize the COD mobile competitive scene is getting bigger and bigger.
Bro, yeah, that's just massive, bro.
People control it and joke about it and say it's whack,
all they want,
but it's getting big now. It's crazy.
And it's actually Ben and Clayster in the background continuing to talk about this topic, I think at great length throughout the entire stream in case you want to check it out, but also making note of some great points out there, especially because, yes, the pandemic has heavily impacted the Call of Duty League. Nobody is denying it. I cannot wait to see once we are fully back to LAN, though, can the CDL really keep up with our expectations? Can they really implement some things to make some big game changes out there? That's something we have to wait and see. I'm excited for it, but yeah, can it really happen?
I guess you're right, and that, I mean, that's the hope of all these franchises too, right, Ben? Like, I'm not saying that the CDL is doomed and that it's fucking shuttering in 2 years. Like, I don't believe that, or I wouldn't still be playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the ideas behind it are good, and they just need, like, if they actually want the CDL to succeed as a product, there has to be a lot more thought and effort put into it in terms of, like, the marketing side, the ranking system side, the reward side, this side, like, you know, like, and then on top of that, all the in-person activations and making it, like, kind of how Overwatch is becoming in a way where, although it's not as what people would call, like, a huge tier 1 esport, right? Its localization from, like, fans in the cities it has are pretty strong, you know?
And
like,
also their broadcast is godlike as well. People don't watch, but the shit is really good.
And like the VOD numbers and stuff are good, right? But people fucking only care about concurrence, and like not saying like business people only care about it, but I'm saying like the community. Like, the community sees numbers like that and they think it's ass, even when the VOD numbers show otherwise, you know? Like, and yeah,
that's a problem too.
And like getting that mentality where it's like LOL COD, like breaking that is part of getting COD out of where it's at right now, you know?
My only thing, and we made this point on the show before, is I want to see a year or two where teams can just do their full market strategy. Like, dude, the league was a thing for 3 months, and then COVID hit.
True.
We had a couple of events.
Yeah,
that was the last one, and then that was it. I mean, we never got an event in Dallas, never got an event in Chicago. The Chicago event sold out, Clay. Like, they were about to have 3,000-4,000 bodies in that arena. Like, there are a lot of people excited.
Didn't they win that one?
What's that?
I'm pretty sure they won that one too. Or it was like there was some like lit match that happened in that Optics home series.
But it was an online. Imagine if that happened.
Yeah.
Zoomaa?
No, that's not. Yeah, that's
No
what I'm
way.
saying.
It
just.
No, I'm talking
Like-
about IM Katowice in Poland, CS:GO.
It just. I don't know, man. I struggle
Pipe storm
every
coming
single
in with
year
a big
with
fucking 5 again. Let's
dealing
get a
with
wipe
what
and
we
a
deal
jack.
with on the CDL side of things, and I think like
Racket
having the
with a
structure
prime
we've
as
had
well.
for
Welcome,
only
Racket.
now a year and a half, pretty much.
Thank you guys,
is now
man.
finally we're gonna see in the next year or two the fruitions of all of this, like, you know, gray box underlying like framework stuff that the CDL is able to input now from the Activision side of things. That, you know, although it's like, hey, we want dev support. It's like, okay, well, the game's fucking made. You know, like, like, what do you want? You know, but now that we're getting into the time period where we're getting to like 2 years of having, like, you know, Activision be in the ears of these devs saying, we need this, we want this, we need this, we want this. I'm hoping that the games will look or at least have the things competitive people want. And I feel like that's got to be fucking step one to get anybody interested in competitive COD, is give them a way to like actually play like us in an enjoyable way, you know?
Yeah.
I agree.
So to try and put this in perspective for some non-Call of Duty fans out there, let's say if you guys are a fan or if you ever watch CSGO, imagine if CSGO has their own Battle Royale, which they actually kind of do, but nobody talks about. So even more of a point, imagine if all of a sudden that blew up and it was bigger than the main game, which is really, really hard to fathom. It's really hard to place yourselves in those shoes. All of a sudden, events and streamers are taking off playing that secondary CSGO Battle Royale and not the main game. Does that take away at all from the main competition? Does that take away from Call of Duty League, which, by the way, we've seen clips of even Scumpy playing ranked modes, and people don't even know what the CDL is. I mean, that's the point where we are at. It's always been a casual game, so this has always been an issue. But are people really playing Call of Duty multiplayer? And thus, how does that impact the CDL? It's a really tricky question to answer, though.
Nah, but
What is CDU?
are you gonna lag us out?
Oh, it's just
Give me game
COD
session not available.
League, something like that. It's like they changed it around a little bit. You have to get more points or whatever. They're hard. Oh, it's hard point. Yeah, you're gonna have to get more points. It's like
Oh no, good thing you lagged out, dude. These guys are noobs.
And someone like Nickmercs recently had a poll on this as well, asking his viewers what they enjoy most. Now, keep in mind, Nickmercs and his audience are probably pretty dominated by the Warzone community, but even more so in the results, it's a COD fan base in general, and 70% enjoy Warzone. A near 20% enjoy the multiplayer, and still the leftover 10% enjoy zombies. And that's where the viewership generally lies. If we look at the World Series of Warzone, the recent event that was exclusive on Twitch, yes, it was co-streamed, so not really necessarily fair, but across a dozen or more streams, what was it, a million concurrent viewership? We look at the most recent CDL stage or CDL major, and you're peaking out around 86K and concurrent average just over 40,000 viewers. Again, co-streaming is obviously an unfair advantage, but it shows you the appeal of watching competitive Warzone as compared to competitive Call of Duty in the CDL. So at the very least, I don't know if Warzone is going to take away or kill CDL. If anything, at first I thought it's just going to add more eyes if they can possibly integrate and cross over a bit more often. But will it hurt the overall viewership of the CDL in the future? I don't know. Is it a fair question to ask? I think certainly so. When people are growing up in Call of Duty nowadays and maybe not even playing multiplayer whatsoever and going right to Warzone, is that an issue for the future of your Call of Duty League that ain't playing Warzone? They're playing multiplayer modes. I don't know where we go from here, but certainly CDL viewership has been a struggle. I would say a bit more than in previous seasons. We'll see if a return to LAN on a consistent basis can fix that, if these organizations can turn it around, or if the league themselves can actually start pushing things to make that difference as well. What do y'all think? Until next time, drink some water, drink some coffee. I'll catch you back here next time. Take care.